What is up everyone, Tim here with another League of Legends guide, and today we will be talking about Talon. Talon is an AD assassin that can be played in the mid lane, might be viable in the top lane, although I think he fits the mid lane role much better, especially because of his silence, which they actually removed, but still his kit stayed the same, and he still fits the mid lane role pretty well. Since this is an advanced guide, I won't be going over his abilities, so if you have no idea what Talon does at all, just check out the Riot Champion Spotlight, like the first 20 seconds or 30 seconds, or just read up on the wiki, or just try him out in one game, and you'll basically know what his abilities are. With that said, I will go over my runes and masteries, and also my item build, playstyle, give you some tips and tricks on matchups, and how you should play him. I created this guide by playing him on my main account as well as on my Smurf account, so in high diamond as well as in low diamond. And I've also watched one streamer who mains Talon. I will give a shout out to him a bit later on in the video when I talk about the mastery page, since I basically copied his mastery page and it's the best mastery page I could find, so I'll tell you all about that. With that said, let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the runes I use on Talon. For reds, marks, you will want to go Magic Pen, very standard for AD assassins. For seals, you will want to take 4 armor seals, and the rest half per level. For glyphs, you will want flat magic resistance, and for quints, you will go for AD, flat AD. This is my standard rune page against AP mid laners. If you're going up against 80 mid laners, I would advise you to switch out the seals for full armor seals, so 9 armor seals. And for glyphs, you can actually go for flat cooldown reduction or scaling cooldown reduction. I actually like scaling cooldown reduction much more. You can either go for 6 of those, then you have about 10% cooldown reduction at level 18 and free magic resistance glyphs, or just go full flat cooldown reduction if that fits you better. But these are my 2 standard rune pages. If you can only afford one, I would advise you go with the first one. It almost always works, as is the standard rune page I use for him. For my masteries, I'm going 22-6-2 instead of the standard 21-9-0 for AD assassins. Honestly, I watched the one streamer who's called Killer Cruiser. Some might know him as Scrum. That's his Smurf. He's an NA Challenger Master solo queue player, and he mains Talon. And this is his mastery page. And I've been going for 21-9, and I've been happy with it. But since I've tried this one out, I've been having much more success with Talon. The mana regeneration in the utility tree helps out a whole lot, and the 22 points in the offense tree are also amazing for Talon. So feel free to try this out. I prefer this much more to the standard 21-9, and I'm gonna say this at the end of the video too. If you want to learn more about Talon, go to his Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/killercruiser, and check out some of his gameplay. He's really good at it. He also plays some AD carry Talon actually in the bot lane, and is also successful with that, so check that out. As I said, I won't be going over his abilities, but the order in which you should level up your abilities are your ultimate, then your W, then your Q, and then your E. Let's get into items. First of all, when you're starting laning phase, you will either go for a flask and 3 health potions, or a longsword and 2 health potions and 1 mana potion. These 2 starts will allow you to trade effectively during laning phase, have a lot of sustain, especially with the flask, and they will allow you to stay in lane until we can get some significant items. The first big item you should be aiming for is Tiamat or a Hydra. The auto attack reset on that item is very important for Talon, since it allows you to deal more damage in your combo, and it also gives you a lot of sustain. So this is usually the first item I'm getting on him. and it's very helpful in trying to one-shot people, and it should be a very important part in your combo. Also, sometimes when your enemy laner is going for a Seeker's Arm Guard, or you can see that he's going for a very armor heavy build, you might want to think about getting a Brutalizer after a Tiamat and then the Hydra, or even getting a Brutalizer earlier, but that very rarely happens, so most of the time you should just go for the Hydra and then the Brutalizer. The Brutalizer should build into Ghostblade, and for boots you will either want to get mobility boots, Merc Treads, or Ninja Tabi. It's just all down to preference, honestly. It depends on the matchup, and it also depends on the state of the game and how far ahead you are. If you say, okay, I want to roam a lot, of course, go for mobility boots. If you say, okay, they have a very AD heavy team and I really need the Ninja Tabi, go for them. If they have a lot of CC and you feel like they might be able to get you with that, go for the Merc Treads. Another option that is very aggressive are the Boots of Lucidity, since they give you more cooldown reduction, but honestly, it's a very risky buy in my opinion, since you will be very susceptible to CC and just overall damage. If you make one mistake, you might get blown up and be completely useless. One of my favorite builds is the mobility boots with the Ghost Plate, since it allows you to assassinate people from a distance in stealth in your ultimate, but I will talk about that later on in the gameplay tips. The next big item you should be going for is a Last Whisper. It will allow you to ignore all the armor your enemy team has stacked against you. You will be able to one-shot them nevertheless, and you will deal a lot of damage to them. After that, you should go for an Infinity Edge and a Black Cleaver. I really like all the armor pendant items on Talon, since they just allow you to ignore the heavy armor stack that a lot of teams try to do and counter you with. So that's something I would advise you to get. The Infinity Edge is just another helpful item to one-shot people with your auto attack, with your Q. If you manage to land an E onto an enemy AD carry and then your Q with a crit from an Infinity Edge, they'll just get one shot instantly and they won't have any time to react. It doesn't matter if you have a silence or not, you will just get to them and kill them. You will see this in a few clips here on Lucian and other AD carries when I just jump on them and do one Q and they're gone. And I'm not even fed, it's just late game Talon with items. So that's one awesome thing about him. So Black Cleaver, Infinity Edge, those two items, very important. As a defensive item, of course, you can get either a Randuin's Omen, but honestly I don't really buy that a lot in Talon. I much prefer GA or Banshee's Veil. Those two items will allow you to ignore some CC, and if you make one mistake, you might be able to just live through it and still be useful in the teamfights later on. Now let's get into gameplay tips and tricks and combos with Talon. So first of all, your standard combo for all ins and stuff like that will be E into an auto attack, into your Q, since your Q resets your auto attack animation, then your W, then time and active, then your ultimate, and your ultimate again to get the blades back to you. With this combination, you get the most damage possible out of your whole set of abilities, and using your ultimate last will allow you to get away and still deal a portion of the blades that go out of your damage and out of your character and back into your character, and it will also allow you to escape. If you use a combo and open up with your ultimate, that whole part of escaping kind of fades away, so you have to decide which way you want to go. The combo number 2 is one of my favorite ones with Talon. It's the gotta go fast combo. You have your mobility boots with the bonus movement speed, then you use your ultimate, and then the Ghost Plate active into your full E, Q, W, blah 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 combo. Basically this allows you to get into the stealth and get a ridiculous amount of movement speed thanks to the mobility boots and the guild build active and your ultimate, and just assassinate someone out of nowhere without them expecting it at all. The only problem can be a pink ward or a trinket that will be used against you, but apart from that you should be safe. Tip number 3 is the minion hop, or the creep hop as I like to call it. It's pretty simple. You can jump 2 creeps with your E, which will allow you to close the gap. You don't necessarily need the bonus damage amplifier from your E on some targets, so if you want to get it to someone very fast, very quick, just don't forget that you can jump to the creeps. Also, when you're trying to escape ganks or just evading skill shots, use your E for that. I would really like it if Riot introduced something like Talon being able to jump to allied creeps too, but I'm pretty sure this would make him completely broken and OP, so it's for the best that it stays like this. For the last part of this video, let's talk about things to watch out for and matchups with Talon. So things you have to watch out for are the same things that you have to watch out for when playing Akali. Pink wards and red trinkets, upgraded red trinkets, are your worst enemy. They will allow you, the enemy team to cast CC on you before you are able to pull off your combo. And since you are playing an AD assassin and are very fragile, you just really have to play with your positioning and watch out for those. Another thing that you have to be careful about is snowballing or getting behind, since if you get behind and you're not able to come back, you will be completely useless. You only have a slow, 2 slows actually, but apart from that you don't really have much utility as Talon. Your main target is to one-shot people, just kill the primary targets and get out if possible. You are also a pretty strong duelist, but only if you get your item. So try to farm up, and if you can farm up, well, try to get as many kills as possible. Try to roam, since Talon has a really big roaming potential, and get back into the game that way. For the matchups, there aren't any very easy matchups for Talon, except for Katarina maybe, and just fragile stuff that can deny him CS early on. But apart from that, you really have to practice the laning phase with Talon. This is where his weakness lies, in my opinion, since you just need your items to be useful. Just with like any other assassin, the same applies to Zed. The difference between Zed and Talon being that Zed has the mechanic built into his ultimate to get out of sticky situations, as with Talon you just have to decide whether to use your ultimate offensively or defensively. With that said, this would be the end of my Talon guide. I hope that I could show you some tips and tricks, and maybe you learned something new about him. I've been having a lot of success with him. I really like his playstyle, and his whole kit is really nice in my opinion. And the removal of his silence hurt him a bit, but his kit in general has stayed the same. So he's still a one-shot machine and really fun to play. Also, as said before, if you want to learn more about Talon, please check out Killer Cruiser on twitch.tv. I will post the link in the description too. He's a very good Talon player, and he also gives a lot of tips in his during his streaming sessions, so feel free to tune in there. And if you want to have something else to watch out for, just search for YouTube videos of Dopa playing Talon in the mid lane. Most of the videos are unfortunately back when Talon still had the silence, but still you will learn quite a lot about positioning and trading effectively during laning phase with Talon, which is the most important thing to learn about him. Alright, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time.